Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. How y'all doing? It's DJ. Welcome to this show, welcome to the stream, welcome. Final Fantasy XIV AR patch content. We're chugging along. It's been a couple days since the last one. Did some leveling up with my white mage, advancing that. But figure it was time to get back going. We also made some progress on refining the relic weapon, but I also need to look into buying the stuff to chain together some new armor here eventually, because we're getting up there in level and we're not getting the materials we need. So in any case, it is Indigenous Peoples Day here in the U.S., or Columbus Day if you're so inclined. Yeah. Enough said about that. The less said about that, the better off I am. If you can't hear the cat, well, she's here joining us as well. Yeah. Trying to think where we just caught someone, the merchant. We just got trying to think where we were in the story. We just caught the merchant that was helping the heretics and Lady Iceheart. We've routed we've been through the dungeon over there. Snowcloak. Maybe it's a little early to be streaming. I mean, it is 7:15 in the morning. The sun's not even up yet here where I am. It's gonna be a long day, folks. Buckle in, sit back, because Alphino is eager to hear Ilber's report on the Ivy. Captain Ilbert, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say the man could tell us naught that we didn't already know of Shiva. We've since handed him over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We've ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You'll recall the flame we first identified as being in the Ivy's employ. From him, we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Fearing the investigation had been compromised, we took necessary steps of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There were 5 on the list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from abroad, the particulars of which he would share with the benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Fortem. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think we can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved, at least. But what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider, then, that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say the agent is among Raban's innermost circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flame's establishment. 'Tis the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into a position of authority unremarked, and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really shouldn't have been. Of the three grand companies, Old Oz was ever the more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limsa Lemensa and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mind, under the same leadership. Only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Old Oz military was made up of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Raban faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained a small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, why? Excuse me for a second. The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though the monetarists ultimately agreed to support the organization's founding, 'twas not out of charity that they did so, but simple self-preservation. Had Nelvarn Darnas's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would never have risked supplying Raban with an army. 'Tis but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray, continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest. The third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in a like manner to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Emmerich, informing him of our success in identifying the heretics' abettors. Hopefully, the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Red. As the realm's stoutest champion, 'tis only meet that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. I just noticed that. Pokey boobs. Okay, that's how this stream's gonna go. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Iceheart, but until another path to her sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. Menphilia and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until such time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. I shall go on ahead to Gridania in readiness for the coming council. Meet me at Nafka's altar, and we shall make our way to the Lotus Stand together. So, for right now, we're also looking to get a few things. A bombard core, which costs, I believe, 20,000 scripts. A bottle of sacred screen water, which is, I want to say, 700 tomestones. And a brass kettle. No worries there. Method to his madness. I need to so that's the Hullbreaker Isle from Quest. I've already got it queued up. So I think I will go ahead and queue for Hullbreaker Isle. And, well, we didn't get it queued quickly enough, so we'll hold off on that for now. My thanks for coming, Red. When you are ready, speak with the conjurer yonder. She will show us to the lotus stand. I could sit here and wait for the queue, or I could just keep moving. The Alliance leaders await you at the lotus stand. Will you be joining them now? Yes. Cutscene.
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
Auto advance on. Finally remembered what the button was.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
"'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
That is just a...
Indeed. Yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartno dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it.
Alfie, you're a little young to be a cynic.
If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are no nearer to being of one purpose, despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them. And the reason for this? Deep-rooted mistrust among the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understandings they like, but their unity means little and less to the common folk. Take the Lamensons, for instance. Though Admiral Merweb has outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog-swilling, wooden-legged cutthroats. Likewise, the Gridanians are mocked as hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldans scorned as swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Voldan society, Teleji Adeleji, for example. But that is beside the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that a conflict at Cardinal is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke at the observatorium, Captain Ilbert has further shortened his list of suspects. And by happy coincidence, the one he deems most likely candidate is lately come to Gridania. The hunt nears its end, Red. All that remains is to corner our quarry. Seek out Ilbert near the Adder's Nest. He will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Kurthus, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. My thanks for coming, sir. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the Ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. Listen well. The spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than the Flame Marshal Aline Royal. Prior to joining the Immortal Flame, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm had to be seen to be believed. Of Ishgardian birth, she is the highest-ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, barring the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Raban chose the people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was of no interest. The Monitorists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the alliance. Yet the Monitorists did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when when the woman was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that Ivy has some hold over the Monitorists? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is her presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Raban attended the Council of Alliance Leaders, he should have remained in the Hall of the Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridania, yet here she is nonetheless, on some pretense. She is up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flame's records for evidence of her guilt. But if we catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing in the docks, every point of egress. She cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? You have my thanks. Let us go then. Take care not to alert our quarry. Tiptoe through the tulips. She's headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate. With me, son. I hadn't noticed him there. That NPC. So, she's entered the Carling canopy. Meeting someone perchance? Or could it be she means to board an airship? Pray, look for her within. If she's not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there. She may have seen something. FME is her name. I shall remain here in case Royal appears. Wall? Why? I'm not familiar with French. I apologize. FME. Red, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. With every passenger, none born any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. Sneak out the back. Nowhere to be seen, you say. And you are sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out either. Where in the seven hells could she have gone? The roost. How could I forget? Greetings, good sir. I need to take care of that. Give me just a second. After that look at Ilbert's legs, sorry that when the cat gets sick, you take care of it at once so it doesn't stain the carpet. Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some Montui tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. That was not where I expected my cursor to be. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait. That necklace. You are a shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridania by way of the West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the East Shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Thanks at 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, she would have disappeared without a trace. And we're taking the Daystar stuff just for... I don't know, do it... I mean, it's not bad, it's more of an armored look than the White Mage usually gets. I don't think so. I think I'll just, desynth it here later. Our hunt leads us to the East Shroud, Zion. I suggest we follow her example and take the ferry from West Shore Pier. You doubtless wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you at the pier. Yeah. Well, okay. That's that. This is since I do need to save up for company seals, sending the retainers on quick missions usually results in a piece of green equipment which I can turn into to the Serpent stand, to the provision officer as part of the provisioning thing, which means we can get back up to that 20,000 we need quicker. It's not a lot, it's only about 500 to 1,000 an hour, but it's not nothing. Incremental advantage. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for Hawthorne Hut. If Royal is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. an explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications. We've installed them around the city-states. In doing so, we've made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royal would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with their Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in the Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Thanlin without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It is for this reason, I believe, she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elizin are a common sight here, and her comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell it, the Guardians have sent agents with mine to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their advances. This is it. We need only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Royal in the act. Actually, why am I walking? I've got a unicorn! My people report that our quarry has departed for the bramble patch. The ivy returns to the gnarls whence she came, but perhaps it is all for the better. To convict someone of her standing, we will require damning evidence against her. What could be better than to catch her in the act when she meets with her Garlean masters? My countrymen and I shall lie in wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. Just beyond, Royal is in conversation with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer. An Imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it. With me. By Marshal Eileen Royal, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You are followed, you bloody fool. Damnation. You're unarmed, my lady, and scarcely God forget battle. But if you wish to fight, you're welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? Would you arrest me for strolling in the Twelves Wood? When last I looked, that was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance, then. Very well. If you do think of something to say, there shall be plenty of time to say it later. Now come quietly, or I'll make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. See, here's the thing. And, I probably ought to put up a little spoiler message here. We know that Eileen is not the only traitor. Or at least spy. Not the only spy. Person selling information to the Garleans. And so, because I have that knowledge, I keep looking, and I apologize for the shadows. I'm still trying to figure out how to light myself correctly. But because I'm aware of the upcoming story beats, like that. That's better. Because I'm aware of the upcoming story beats and story moments, I keep looking for things, like having Eileen be in the shot when they choose to show Raban in the lotus stand that we just went through. You could always see the Elysian woman standing over his shoulder. And just then, Eileen flashes Ilberd a look. What kind of look? Well, it's hard. That's up for you to decide, but she gave him a look. Why did she give him a look? What did that look mean? I know, because I played the story. You don't know because you haven't, or yes, you have, but you also know, but now you know that I know, and let's go talk to you. Even a warrior of Royale's renown could not have hoped to escape by force. Despite her claims, her surrender does not speak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap then the people of Ul'dah will have the grand company they deserve. But let us speak of the present. Why, may I ask, what will you do now, Red? So, the Scions seek a way into Iceheart's sanctum. Then I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Stones. Pray, do not let me keep you. Fear not. My countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. And speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of the shinobi? You have the aptitude for it, I believe. So please, give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. That line changes depending on if you're doing this quest as a ninja, she will acknowledge it. So, speak with Menfilia. While we're doing that, now I will requeue for Hullbreaker Isle. Because I will just go ahead and she's in Mordona. Let's take a flight. I do like this BGM here. This is this reminds me of a song, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's from the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. And the reason I can't remember it is because I'm like 75% sure that the song name would be in English. Most of the song names are in English. I just can't remember it. That's an interesting thing to note. I don't know. Well, okay, interesting to me. It takes about 4 minutes to fly that route from the eastern shroud to Mordona. Wow. So yeah, we're gonna wait. Tataru is juggling bottles and knives and a pipe. Steady, steady. Not bad. With a little more practice, I could earn a fortune at the Ruby Road Exchange. Tataru has grown beyond childish fantasies of becoming a songstress. Now she aspires to be a legendary street performer. She cannot seriously be considering it. Life of life as a street performer should be one's last resort, not their first. Yes, but Higgity, you're missing the point. The individual does not matter. It was a team effort, and I was the one who... Thancred's tales of Lady Ugiri almost beggar belief. My heart is fair fit to burst from admiration. A rousing tale of the comrade's vigor. Truly, we are fortunate to count Lady Ugiri as a friend. And Ida and Hori are having a squat off. I have not progressed my squad far enough to get the squats yet, so... So I'm going to make a quick trip to the restroom. I will set the timer, put the timer up here, and hopefully I'll be back before it goes off. So, in a moment. Well, I'm back. Still waiting on that queue. I don't know, I want to get this done because honestly, getting the relic weapon has been a big thing for me. It's something I've never done. I've never taken the relic weapons all the way to the end of the chain. So it's something, and honestly, it's been something I've been wanting to do because, let's face it, at the end of the day, I'm kind of an achievement hunter. I kind of want to be part of that. It's an accomplishment, if for no other reason than it's something that not a lot of people take the time to do. And I don't know if respect is the correct word, but I'm definitely in awe of the people that can go and farm all of these, because even the one has been a bit of a push. But, well, we've been waiting for 15 minutes on this dungeon. I think I'll go ahead and just take a pass for right now. We'll come back to that later. Welcome back, Red. I understand that Alphino had a task for you. Might I ask what it was? Charges of treason and espionage against Aline Royale. I can scarce believe it. Could there not have been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust the authorities to uncover it. Let us speak of another matter. I'm pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. As you may recall, Iceheart used Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west, most likely a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva using the crystals she stole from the House Bortome caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint. But if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice to say, they must be stopped. And stop them we shall. But first, we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our query. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetheryte to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is she destroyed the second Aetheryte upon arrival, a reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. After discussing the matter at length with Urianger, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution, which is why we've called upon the aid of one who does possess such expertise, a colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Charlian. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you are here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. And finally, we are to the point where we meet one of my favorite and spoiled characters, and spoilers characters. Because, well, I did not realize how excited I would be for this. This is actually kind of weird. I've been through this part of the game before. I know what's going on. I know what's coming up, and still I'm excited. It's weird. forgot about that little fake out there.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Sharlayan scholar and an authority on aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
I don't that gesture. Some of the emotes are kind of wild. Oh. For an outpost in the ether-rich wasteland, this place is a good deal livelier than I expected. Just goes to show that you never know until you know. Let us return to the Rising Stones at once, then. We have much to discuss. Oh my. It's good to see Moonbreeder. And it sucks to see Moonbreeder. So, we shall enjoy the time we have with our scholarly friend and we'll watch Tataru juggle for a moment. And just wish we could get that as an emote from the store.
Moon! Gods, it's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed.
Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Urianger, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? Your missing aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate.
Yeah, this is one of those weird ones where they go into the lore of the world, and I don't mind. I enjoy this part. But it's still weird.
However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, but would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
Titan. Call back.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal.
It's a MacGuffin.
I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the aetherite. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risked the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
Although I will say, the first time I went through this section, that kind of bothered me. Like, we're trusting our lives to this person we just met. Granted, everybody we trusts her, so there's that, but still. I've already informed Alphino of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner Moonbreeder described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. He also said that he wished to meet with you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you there when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done on our behalf, Red, and that I have faith that you will return to us, as you always have. Okay. Once more into the breach. And maybe we get hopefully it'll go easier than... Let's try that sentence one more time. Actually, thinking before we say it. Hopefully the queue for the Shiva fight won't take nearly as long as the queue for Hullbreaker Isle, which we still haven't went through yet. But unfortunately, there is no quick route. I mean, I think you can get over the mountains, but let's try going the direct route. It's snowy, it's foggy, we're likely to run into a cliff. But hey, at least it's the cliff that we were looking for. Good to see you, Red. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. Captain Ilbrid sends his regards, by the way. He attends the interrogation of Elaine Royal and will die even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the Ivy upon your return. I trust that, by which I mean to say, the others are waiting for us at the Aetheryte. After you, Sile. Alfie, you're not going to join in? There, it's ready. It worked, I think. Try tuning to the Aetheryte now. Feel for the current and try to locate the beacon. We have done all we can, Red. For now, let us withdraw. When your final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. Was looking for a sign. We cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, she may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual. And if she succeeds, you will have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I would encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about wagering their lives on the success of Moonbreeder's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Emmerich. Madam, Sir Emmerich regrets that he could not be here in person and asks that I read you this letter. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat. Yet in our hour of need, it is not her knights who will stand poised to defend her. Red-Green, the warrior of light, savior of Eorzea, your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service to a greater cause. May Halone bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Akafa Amphitheater. Okay, and now we wait. What can I do while I wait? A bit of warm-up, I suppose. And by this situation, we gather that our guard here is level 51, because otherwise this level 40 Croc would be attacking him. I think I'm going to, while we're waiting for the queue, I'm going to slip away and get a refill on my drink and enjoy big giant circles. Okay, that's enough doing nothing for a few minutes. So, what you can do is just work on some of these achievements. The next one is 750 level 21 to 30 woodworking recipes, which means I'm going to need a ton of wind shards. And the closest wind shards are probably... Doesn't matter. Aquafa Amphitheater, hooray! Where is that shadow? Is it here? No.
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Yeah, I'm not skipping this cutscene. I also do not remember this fight, so this will be fun. I couldn't see the thing on the ground. Was a little off on my timing for the circle, but it worked.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you. Following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of Light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after.
Oh, now don't be pulling the lines from the theme song on me.
Seek the Keeper of the Lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift. Hear, feel, think.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Ooh. Something about their theme song just gives me the shivers. By the 12, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Izhar did what? And you're certain about that, are you? Truvanians are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if that's what you say you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma has been known to cause hallucinations, you see. No? Fair enough, I was only asking. If you ask me, there's not to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. But before that, you'd best pay a visit to Whitebrim Front and speak with Alphino. He's probably worried sick about you. That, or he's busy playing politics with the Ishgardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? A blurred vision? No reason. See you again soon. Okay, now, to be fair to Membrita, that's probably the correct assumption. If the person you're talking to tells you something that goes against all known logic and history, it's probably best to question them. Alfie's probably up in the tower, correct? Whee! Lord Sir Emmerich, that you stand here now is proof of your mission success. Praise be to Helone. Yes, but he's not my commanding officer. There she is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt the warrior of light would succeed? Cat, you're tearing up my chair. You come up that way. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent the further loss of life, an outcome worthy of celebration, and one for which we have Red to thank. Yes, you are right, of course. We should be content with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been routed. Aye, there's a matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Gentleman, is the caravan ready? The supplies your men recovered have been prepared for transport in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Toll. Of that, I have no doubt. I take it these self-same supplies the heretics stole from the House Fortune caravan? Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, on an unrelated note, Red, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? 'Tis not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to stop Iceheart. Took a half-dozen knights to restrain him, I'm told. Men give vent to their anxieties in myriad ways. Pray, do not think less of him. Aye. Let's go talk with Lord Harshavon. And let's re-queue for Holebreaker Isle, because no one wants to play this dungeon. But I need to get it accomplished. What were you thinking, Red? Wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat. By the Fury, Red, this is stuff with balance. A battle for the ages. Would that I have been there to fight by your side. And yet here I was, forced to wait, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Emmerich wished to have words with you and Master Alphino in private. He awaits us in the intercessory. I'm guessing that a number of cutscenes will play in order. I'm going to put my hat on. Remind Sir Emmerich, I am the
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
Ever the pragmatist.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We, too, have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Because they can summon Shiva again if they get enough crystals. We got to keep an eye on him.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgard Zoma could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am now. Why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind.
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
Now that's interesting, something I hadn't quite picked up on before. We've seen Lucia before, the taciturn Temple Knight. And almost immediately after we root out the Ivy, the high-ranking official in the Flames as being a Garlean spy, well, we're told to trust this Hume. 99% sure she's a Hume. Hume is something, is on the first. This Hure who did not come from Ishgard originally. So what are we to think of that? It's good storytelling, because, and we'll put up a spoiler finger here to over here. So spoilers, Lucia is Garlean, which makes for an interesting, I mean, yeah, this is big time spoilers. But we're introduced to this Garlean woman who said we can trust, who we are told we can trust, immediately after routing out a Uldan's spy. I think it makes for interesting storytelling. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reappraisal of the primal threat, and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if the word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then, if it became known that not only the beast tribes of Eorzea could summon primals, but her civilized people as well, any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Comrade, it is better we continue this conversation in Mordona. Yes. We're among friends. We'll take off our hats. He waved at us as we went by.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once. Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogglmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
Final Fantasy 16!
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not. But full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Oh good, recaps. Clip show!
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no clip show.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Minfilia gets it in one.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
I mean to scour the annals for knowledge of Midgard-Zoma. Given his great age, I dare say he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? The commotion outside. Would you see if aught is amiss? Cat, you cannot sit on the mouse. I understand. My hand is comfortable. For whatever reason, you believe my hand is comfortable, but you cannot sit on my hand when it's on the mouse. It makes it difficult for me to move things. Hello, Alfino. Red, 'tis well you are on hand. We have a problem. Royal has escaped. It happened shortly after the immortal flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of our coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Royal quitting the city via the Gate of Nald, with a bloodied spear in hand. She makes for Castrum Meridianum, I'm certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed, what recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and the First are hot upon Royal's heels. Royal's heels. Wall's heels.
Roy.
Rye? Why? Rye's heels. Rye. Rye. Go to Camp Blue Fog. Bronze Lake. Blue Fog. Thanks for coming, Silent. I've spoken with the soldiers. Hey, yeah. They say that while walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked through. You did not, monsieur. We have Raban's decision to keep the matter secret, thank you for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. And so here we are. Why must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridianum. through the processing plant. This wretch was with Y. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. I don't believe you. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty to you, even to her own, the gods stand. With me, Stein, we almost have him. I don't believe you. Kill the rest. Okay. Honestly, that's an okay fight. I like that one. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of Flo? You, a spoiled little lordling who's never known want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it's your God's-given right to rule over others. You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-born Asgardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we're not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive. Stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It's no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the Flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you're the only person to have ever suffered. In case you've forgotten, Robon himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than our shirts on our back. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand we'd been dealt and played it to the best of our abilities. Life is a battle, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back from it. Everything we have, we fought for. How are we any different then? True, we're both mercenaries of lowly birth. And it's true we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it's that you never betray your own. Would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. Enough talk. You'll return to Adad to face justice, and the people whose trust you've dragged them together. So much as a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that all this sort of business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raban chose his.
I've heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Bon, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Minfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held I've forgotten how to say it again. In high regard, for better or worse, she will want to know how this tale ends. I can do that.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not together with Robon, Eileen lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled.
Okay.
My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
Let's turn back on the auto again.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with White Auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to Auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had 2 pieces of white auracite? one to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
It would seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the aura site. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the Meteor Project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the Calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varys Zosgalvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! Today I will purge this land of your sickness before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
One can be a bit melodramatic at times.
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartiner Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Rauban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Rauban, Forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
That reminds me. I should probably finish the capstone culinarian quest before we go any further. So, we've got time. I think that's what we'll do. Level 110 weapon coffer is the Liberator, which is actually a dark steel ingot. So, let's see. Let's put on our chef's hat real quick. Literally. And head out to Mensa. Why? Well, because time weirdness. Just like having the Dragoon quest, getting the Dragoon quest up to level 50. Kind of want to get to before meeting Estinian in the main story quest. Shall I try that sentence again? Just like getting the Dragoon quest through level 50 before you meet Estinian in the main story quest, it involves some time weirdness if you try to do the culinarian quests after you start Heaven's Ward for a very obvious reason. So upstairs we go. It's time to make some friends with Aldgoat. Great timing, Red. Just so happens I have a task for you. Well, test your ingenuity in the kitchen. I don't know what that accent is. I apologize. Diamond Dove's looking a lot less tense thanks to your giant prunes, but she's still a bit on the pale side for my liking. Woman needs some red meat, and if you ask me, I want you to cook it. A nice big all-good steak would put some color back in her cheeks. Thing is, Diamond Dove don't care much for the meat. All good stuff is leather, you see, and it's got a pretty pungent flavor to boot. Islanders are just about the only folk that enjoy it. Safe to say, you'll need to do something about the texture and taste if you want Diamond Dove to eat your all good steak. Got all that? Good. Now we're along, eh? So, all goat steak. What is this? Level 25, okay. All goat steak needs table salt and garlic. Both of which I can get from Josie here. Rock salt and the garlic. First things first, make the rock salt into table salt. Then you'd like my opinion on a dish? Very well. What do you have for me? Oh, is this what I think it is? So, I must warn you, I'm not particularly fond of Aldgate. My evaluation might not be the most objective, but if you insist... Are you certain this is all good? It's not chewy in the slightest. You've done a fine job of tenderizing the meat, I must say. What's more, I can scarce make out the pungent flavor. It remains to be sure, but it's somehow pleasant, almost delicious when complemented by garlic. Being rich in iron, Aldgate is supposedly good for you, but its texture and taste leave a lot to be desired. Which is why I've always loathed this stuff. How ironic that you should choose me of all people to sample yet. This is another one of the Guildmaster's schemes to nurse me back to health, isn't it? Why that interfering? I said I would take better care of myself, didn't I? Apparently he thinks he knows me better. At any rate, it does nothing to detract from your achievement. You've made me change my mind about Aldgate, and that's no small coup. No chef in my native Ul'dah would have gone to such lengths to make the meat appealing. They would have dismissed it as lowly fare, unworthy of their time. Ul'dah cuisine is the true product of life in the Sultanate, see, rife with pomp and pretense. I began my career there, but I grew weary of all the charlatans masquerading as gourmands. To hear them speak, one would assume that gold leaf was an essential part of every meal. That's why I came to Limsa. Thank the gods I did. Here, the people's love of cuisine is simple and pure. It shows in the dedication of our guild members. Not a day goes by that I don't count myself fortunate to have been given the opportunity to work alongside fine culinarians like you. Here, have a piece of silver and a new knife. Chef's being bollocks me. Out on the 7 ends I meant to cook with one bloody hand. Of all the times I could have had it, why did it have to be now? Forgive me language loss, don't worry, it ain't serious. Well, it's a bit serious to tell the truth. I've gone and knackered me hand trying to catch a falling prey, you see. It'll heal and all, but it's like a bastard. Got so much as scratch me ass with it, never mind old skillet. Never mind old the skillet. Wouldn't be so bad, but we got ourselves a big wig coming to dine today. One of the most powerful men in Ul'dah. Now, I've been in business for decades, and I ain't no stranger to call dignitaries what whine about the color of the bloody crockery. And now there's too much parsley garnish on top of this soup. This ain't no ordinary coddled dignitary we're dealing with. This one fancies himself a food critic. And he's always out to find fault, real or not. And that ain't the worst of it. Owing to his influence, he's driven more than a few respectable establishments into the ground. For this, he's earned himself the name of Chef's Bane in culinary circles. Each time the man's dined at the Bismarck, I've personally done the cooking so as to avert disaster. Don't get me wrong, I've got complete trust in all my chefs, but if the Bismarck goes under, the guild goes with it. And that ain't a burden I can put on just anyone's shoulders. But this time, someone else is going to have to fill in for me. And I want that someone to be you, Red. You've proven yourself more capable in a high-pressure situation. I'm confident you won't let us down. You do well to begin by talking with Ivanhoe. Being a native of Ul'dah, she might be as she knows something of the chef, mate. I mean, Lord Rito. I am aware of the situation, but don't panic. Though the Guildmaster is indisposed, all is not yet lost. In case you're unfamiliar with our distinguished guest, I'm not. He's the head of the East Altenard Trading Company. Though you may not have heard the name before, you will almost certainly have heard of many famous brands it owns, such as Bishtame's lapidaries and Sunsilk tapestries. Lord Lolorito's countless successes have made him the wealthiest man in Ul'dah, a place where wealth and influence are synonymous. It goes without saying he has a seat on the Syndicate, the cabal that rules the Sultan. Lest you wonder, Uldah's only notionally a sultanate these days. Anyway, as is often the way with men of means, Lord Lolorito is a lover of fine cuisine. And as the Guildmaster doubtless mentioned, he's made a name for himself as a ruthless food critic. The man has a penchant for making life miserable for his chefs. Indeed, he never places an order, but demands instead that you impress him. And therein lies our first dilemma. What sort? Lest you think the fate's unduly mischievous, I'm happy to report that the odds are not wholly stacked against us. It just so happens that Lolorito's butler, a fellow by the name of Nonopesa, is dining at the Bismarck this very moment. This is a good golden chance to learn what manner of dish Lolorito craves. Go to Nonopesa on the terrace and try to coax the information out of it. Good luck. Nonopesa. I'm sorry, I think I may have misheard. Did you say that you would be preparing Lord Lolorito's meal? Well, this is rather unexpected. But if Master Lingseth saw fit to entrust the task to you, then you must not be without skill. You wish to know what my master desires to eat? Finally, it occurs to someone to ask me that question. It's my duty to see that my lord never wants for comfort, and naught pleases me more than to see Lord Lolorito in high spirits. As such, I should be glad to share with you what I know. Shortly prior to arriving in Limsa Lominsa, my master spoke of being seized by a craving for a hearty meal of meat. Though he did not mention a specific dish, I happen to know that smoked raptor is a particular favorite of his. Needless to say, a man of such refined taste as he would expect no less than the finest sample of the dish. I hope this information serves you well. Lord Lolorito is due to conclude his business negotiations presently, and will desire to take his meal thereafter. Once the smoked raptor is ready, pray bring it to me. I shall see it delivered to my master. Get a high-quality smoked raptor. So the question is, do I have any smoked raptor? I do not. Do I have any raptor shanks? I do not. Do I have any olive oil? I do. Do I have a sun lemon? I do not. Do I have black pepper? I do not. So let's go grab a... Can I buy the black pepper? I can buy the black pepper. Can I buy the sun lemon? Black pepper. Does not look like I can buy the sun lemon. And olive oil needs... I've got high quality olive oil, so I'll just go grab it. Auker's Alley. And that's a honey one. That's olive oil. block one. All of them. Actually, no, I'll just take all of them. Let's head to Lower Lenosha. Switch over to Bard. Actually, switch over to Botanist. Wait, while I'm doing this, Q. And the lemon trees are over here. We go. And then back to Clemenza. Remember, Lord Lorito will accept nothing less than the best. Your smoked raptor must be the finest example of the dish, prepared with the utmost skill. Ah, the smoked raptor is ready. Good. I trust you won't object to an inspection. Lest you worry about your handiwork being defaced. My years serving Lord Lorito have taught me how to taste with sight and smell alone. Sure. By the gods, this raptor is sublime. The marriage of cracked pepper and sun lemon begets an irresistible fragrance that perfectly complements the aroma of the meat. The flavor is rounded out with the mellow fruitiness of olive oil, which also lends the shank a lustrous sheen that tantalizes the eye. I have presided over Lord Lodorito's dining table for many years, and I can say without reservation that this is the most delectable smoked raptor I have ever had the pleasure of not eating. It is of little wonder that Mr. Lingseth deemed you fit to cook in his stead. I doubt that even he could have delivered a better rendition of my master's favorite dish. You, madam, are quite a culinarian. But I sense that you are more relieved than flattered. Hardly surprising, I suppose. Much and more is said of my lord's uncompromising approach to cuisine. While I will not refute the rumors, you may rest assured that the Bismarck has no cause to worry. Now then, if you will excuse me, I must see my lord's meal delivered to him. You may look forward to hearing his judgment anon, and entirely without trepidation if my senses do not fail me. Pray, send Master Lingseth my compliments. You did it, Red. You impressed the pants off of Lolorito's butler. No one place knows his master's taste better than his own, and his approval is all the assurance I need. The guild's safe, and it's all thanks to you. You never cease to amaze me, Red. You came to us with nary a knowledge of cooking, and now you're like a second left hand. Yeah, that didn't come out right. What I mean to say is, you are as useful to me and as the one I hold my skillet with. Something no culinarian can do without. You got in you to be one of the finest chefs in the realm, and I would see you fulfill your potential. Promise me you'll keep at your cooking. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I like to keep all of my stuff in the same spot for crafting, and I couldn't remember where I put waste not. Okay. Right, good of you to drop in again, Red. You'd be surprised how many of your guild mates stop coming all together, thinking they know what needs to know it. But as any scholarly would tell you, the learning never stops, and I speak from experience. There's some who say I'm the best in the realm, but there ain't a day that passes that I don't discover something new. Like this accent. It's completely new, and has never been heard before. Probably will never be heard again. Now, you and me, we're chefs first and foremost. But there's more to the restaurant business than just cooking. And so I want you to speak with Odisha, our bookkeeper. Before coming to us, she herself was a scholarly doing customs work at Mervin's Gates. You stand to learn much and more by seeing things from her perspective. Ah, there's a bit of Let us bard. We shall bard. I will go ahead and skip the cutscene for the benefit of my white mage and monk. Sorry, auto attack trigger. It's been a minute since I played this one. I don't remember what the gorilla does. The Sasquatch. We just wait for him this time? This one has some ice attacks. Don't know where we're going. Hey. Okay, that was weird. I have no recollection of that fight. Okay. That was weird. Okay, Ratatouille to Illusion. Do I have any Ratatouille? I do not. I do not have any garlic. I don't need garlic. Do I have any lavender oil? I have lavender oil. Do I have any laurel? Don't have any laurel. Do I have any ruby tomatoes? Don't have any ruby tomatoes. Do I have any grand horn zucchini? What about wizard eggplant? No. Okay. Anything I can pick up here? Laurel, no. Ruby. Excuse me. Ruby tomato. Ramhorn zucchini and wizard eggplant. No. Okay, so it looks like we're on a journey. So Laurel is 7th Anlin. Gathering method. 7th Anlin. Ramhorn zucchini is in Raincutter Gully. And the wizard eggplant. And so this dish is from all over. Actually, you know what? We've been going for over 3 hours. I think it's time that I called it for today. Or at least for the time being. I will finish this up off stream. And this is weird. My camera is offset just enough that it makes looking at you weird. Thank you everybody for joining me. There's a weird shadow on my face too. This is not where I want to be. That's okay. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully I'll see you again. If not, go down the checklist. VODs are available here for a short time on twitch.tv/DJHgaming. For a longer time over at youtube.com/DJHgaming. And if you really want to, I don't see why you would, you can follow my social is DJ Hogan at kind.social on Mastadon. No X. I got over my X. We'll see you next time. Be good to each other.